Diabetes should be called the sugar disease because that's really what it is. That's what's causing it. And this is a health issue of a scale of a tsunami, which is heading down the back straight, and it's affecting the whole world, it's affecting billions of people, not just people in Europe and North America, but across the world. And it's caused by our modern lifestyle. Hello, my name is Graham, and I want to talk to you today about 6 foods not to eat if you're a diabetic. In fact, 6 foods not to eat even if you're a healthy person and want to remain so. I know what I'm talking about because I've got myself into remission from diabetes. I've lost weight and got myself down into my healthy BMI range. So I've worked out how to do this, and I can help you do the same. Now, as I've said, diabetes is all to do with sugar, and it's quite simply the body just becomes overwhelmed with the amount of sugar we're eating in a modern diet. This problem started about 40, 50 years ago with the rise of manufacturing and convenience foods, and these convenient foods are full of carbohydrates and additives. And then to make this problem worse, we do far too little exercise as well. Now, as a species, we've been around the planet for about 250,000 years, something like that. And for just about all that time, apart from the last 30 or 40 years, we've been a very active species. And in fact, for most of that time, we've been hunter-gatherers and living on a diet high in fats and protein and very active. Today, we're doing just the opposite. We do far too little exercise, and our diet is full of carbohydrate. Now, what this does is that all the carbohydrate, which is sugar, causes our glucose to spike, and that in turn causes insulin to spike. And insulin does a great job. It's done a great job throughout the history of humanity, but it's now causing a problem because it's designed actually to store fat. It is the fat storage hormone. And now we've changed our lifestyles dramatically to eating lots of carbohydrate, not doing much exercise. Insulin is busy storing this fat and causing problems. Because what it's doing, to be a bit more specific about it, yes, it stores fat, and it signals to the body to store fat. That's what it's doing. It slows the metabolism, and it makes us feel hungry. So that's just what we don't really want to be happening, but it's caused by the carbohydrate we're eating. So this whole process drives weight gain, insulin resistance, and metabolic disease, the likes of type 2 diabetes. Regardless really of how many calories you're taking in, insulin is in control. So it's crucial to control insulin. So I'm going to give you today 6 foods to avoid to help get your insulin under control and restore yourself to good health. And this goes for, as I say, for people who don't have diabetes as well. The advice carries across to everybody. The first one is processed foods. Try and avoid them. And they've been processed because they have a label on them. A packet of donuts has a label on it telling you what's in it. A bag of apples doesn't, because they're just apples. A piece of salmon doesn't. And what's happening with processed foods is that typically nutrients are being taken out, fiber is being taken out, maybe even fat is being taken out because manufacturers think you will pay more for it if it's fat-free. The thinking is just plain wrong. And what do they put in? They put in sugar instead. So a thing to know it's been processed is, firstly, it was going to have a label on it. And the other thing is to do is to have a look at that label, see what's in the ingredients, and ask yourself, would my gran had these different types of ingredients in her larder all those years ago? And if she wouldn't, which she probably won't have done, it's a good signal not to be buying and eating that product. So that's the first one, processed foods. The next food to do your very best to avoid, and I know this is difficult, this one, is grains. Grains, particularly wheat, are in so many foods. So many manufacturers will add these things to bulk the food out and and to cheapen the ingredients of which go into different processed food products. Grains are full of carbohydrate, and of course carbohydrate is actually sugar. For example, 100 grams of white bread, and so that's probably sort of 2 slices, maybe a little bit more than 2 slices. That's going to have approximately 50 grams of carbohydrate, 50 grams of sugar in it. Whole grain bread, yeah, slightly better for you, but it's still going to be 40%, 40 grams of carbohydrate in it as well. Now, wheat in particular gives us many problems. I've experienced this myself, and that's why I minimize how much wheat I eat, because it is behind, obviously, weight gain, feeling bloated, brain fogs. It also makes us feel hungry. It's a bit addictive. So wheat is one really to take out. If you do nothing else from what I talk about today, cut out the wheat. It'll make a big difference. You'll feel it after a couple of weeks. And obviously that's wheat and grains in all their forms. Excuse me. So the third one I want to talk about, and this will disappoint you, disappoints me as well, but there we are. It's potato. Unfortunately, yeah, we all love potato, but it's a problem. Again, it is full of starch. Starch is a type of sugar. And so potato really needs to come off the menu. And again, in all its forms, whether it's jacket potatoes or chips or whatever, it needs to come off, please, because, as I say, it's full of sugar. The next one, number 4, is in fact sugar, because sugar is added to a lot of foods. Donuts is a good case in point, biscuits, cakes. There's lots of sugar in these things. And if there's one problem in our diet, I've already said, it is sugar. Just try to avoid the added sugar as best you can. Number 5 is fruit. Now, not all fruit, but a lot of fruit has a very high amount of sugar in it. It also has what's called a high GI, glycemic index, and it releases that sugar quickly into the bloodstream, which causes your blood sugar to spike and insulin to spike. And so you have to look at your fruits much more carefully to see what you can and cannot be eating. Typically, berries are fine, including strawberries, but when you get up to things the likes of watermelon, bananas, and things like this, there is simply just too much sugar in them. And again, best avoided. Fruit juices also, I'm going to put those in here. People think fruit juice is fine. Well, I'm sorry, no, it's not, because what you've done there, you've taken a fruit like an orange, and it's been pulped up or whatever, and you've removed all the healthy fiber, and you're just left with the sugary juice. So yeah, fruit juices are certainly off the menu if you're diabetic. And then finally, number 6, alcohol and fizzy drinks. These are problems for different reasons. Alcohol can be very full of sugar, particularly some of these cocktails and things. And so, we're all going to have an occasional alcoholic drink. Yeah, we understand that. But minimize it and stick to the alcohols which have low sugar. Wine, for example, or light beers. And then fizzy drinks, colas, I've already described them. These are a problem because they just have so much sugar in, which I think we all know now. But something which people may not know is that they say, well, okay, well, I'll have the light or the zero sugar option. Well, unfortunately, the body is tricked into thinking sugar's in it. They put chemicals into these zero sugar or 0 calorie recipes. And these chemicals actually trick the body as soon as it hits the tongue into thinking there's sugar in that drink, and it starts releasing insulin. So the effect of these isn't quite as bad as the full sugar version, but not far off. So there's your 6 things to do your very best to avoid. I know it's difficult. I've been there and done this and still do it. But if you're going to make a big difference to your health, this is where you start. There's a lot more to all this, but these are 6 things to avoid. Another way to look at this, as I say, is to eat natural food. That's a good starting point. You know, when you're selecting food to eat, look for foods which don't need labels, and that's a good indication it's going to be pretty healthy for you. Now, I have a free PDF download for you. I think it's 9 pages, which details all the foods you can and shouldn't eat if you're diabetic. I've grouped it by macronutrients, so proteins, fats, carbohydrates, so you can see what you can eat. There's also some some meal suggestions in there as well. So I think you will find it useful. And that is in my Facebook profile, and I will link to it in the description below this video. One last thing for you, which I hope will be of help as well, is that every Wednesday I do a live event on Zoom covering a different subject to do with diabetes every week. It runs for 30 to 40 minutes max. It's 6 p.m. UK time, and obviously being a Zoom event, you have an opportunity to ask your questions and interact in the event, and ask me whatever you want. Again, I'll put a link to that in the description below. So you do need to register for that, but there are only so many places. Okay, I hope that's been useful to you, and I wish you the best of health. Talk to you again soon.